Hare Krishna. Okay, let's continue the discussions of Hiranyakashipu with the wives and children of Hiranyaksha, wherein he is quoting Yamraj and the story of the bird, Kulinga bird, who basically is lamenting but does not see his own death. So that's what he gives. He gives two stories. One about the small boy, and who, sorry, no, as a small boy, he when he comes to Suyadnya's funeral, and secondly, he talks about the two Kulinga birds. Gist of both of them is no point in lamenting for somebody who is dead, because that will not help us. What will really help us is to understand where have or who the dead was. That he was a spirit soul, and I'm also a spirit soul. I will also go through the same thing. So I should do something to stop this particular set of problems. So that's the gist. Let's see what Hiranyakashipu has to further offer us as advice for our own spiritual progress. So, shloka number 58. Yeah, Aruna Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Hiranyakashipu uvacha Bala evam pravadati Sarve vismitachetasah Gnatayo me nire sarvam Anityam anyathotitam.
Ayodhitam, very nice.
Translation. Hiranyakashipu said, while Yamraj, in the form of a small boy, was instructing all the relatives surrounding the dead body of Suyagna, everyone was struck with wonder by his philosophical words. They could understand that everything material is temporary, not continuing to exist. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so that's the nice conclusion which Hiranyakashipu himself is giving, that the material world is temporary. Whatever is born is about to die, will die. Antavata ime deha nityasya yokta sharirinaha. A body is perishable, soul within the body is imperishable. And therefore, what does that mean? Therefore, it is a duty of those advanced in knowledge in human society to study the constitutional position of the imperishable soul and not waste valuable human time in merely maintaining the body and not considering the life's real responsibility. What is the real responsibility for everybody is to get liberated from this cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death. All the work that we do, all the whatever we do should be towards this particular objective. That I am not the body, and this is just a temporary position. So does that mean you just drop everything and go to the Himalayas? No, Lord, as explained by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, even for Arjuna, he tells him to do his duty as an offering to the Lord. So we also basically do our duty as an offering to the Lord, do devotional service, yeah, and move towards liberation. Uh, Srila Prabhupada refers to Madhvacharya, and he talks about we don't know what our next Janma is going to be. It could be a demigod, it could be a dog. So therefore, it is better to utilize the current opportunity that we have. Yeah. So that's what he says. Let's read this very beautiful comment of Madhvacharya. Go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Only Janardana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is ever existing, but his creation, the material world, is temporary. Therefore, everyone who is captivated by the material energy and absorbed in thinking, I am this body, and everything belonging to this body is mine, is in illusion. One should think only of being eternally a part of Janardhan. And one's endeavor in this material world, especially in this human form of life, should be to attain the association of Janardhan by going back home, back to Godhead.
Yeah, so that's the important consideration which Madhvacharya is reminding us, to understand that if you think I am this body and everything belonging to the body is mine, then that is illusion. Yeah, and to understand our true position as a spirit soul and do what? Attain association of Janardana. And that's what devotional service is about. Okay, let's read further. Yeah, Prashant, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. यम एतदुपाख्याय तत्रैवान्तरधीयत ज्ञातयो हि सुयज्ञस्य चक्रुर्यत्साम्परायिकम्.
Goodness.
After instructing all the foolish relatives of Suyagnya, Yamaraja, in the form of a boy, disappeared from their vision. Then the relatives of King Suyagnya performed the ritualistic funeral ceremonies.
So actually, this is again in consideration of Hiranyaksha who has just died. So that's what the story also is appropriate. So Yajna who dies, and all the lamenting relatives are given knowledge in relation to the temporary nature of the material world. Okay, let's read further, Ashwin Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण अतः शोचतमायूयं परं चात्मानमेव वा का आत्मा क परो वात्र स्वीयपारक्य एव वा स्वपराभिनिवेशेन विना ज्ञानेन देहिनाम्.
Very nice.
Therefore, none of you should be aggrieved for the loss of the body, whether your own or those of others. Only in ignorance does one make bodily distinctions, thinking, who am I? Who are the others? What is mine? What is for others? Hare Krishna.
So that's the consideration, not to think from a bodily perspective. None of you should be aggrieved for the loss of the body because anyway it's going to go away. Yeah, that's the no, for our own as well as for others, because our real consideration is to know who am I, and in fact, this body is nothing but a mechanism and a means for us to do get to this realization. So if you do not make use of the body towards that realization, then it's anyway waste. Yeah, because all you've done is lived life like an animal. Dvipat Pashu. That is all we are trying to do. So we have to ensure the human body's function is really up to the mark by understanding that I am not the body. That only happens in the human form of life, not in any other form of life. Yeah. So that's the agyata that he talks about, that Srila Prabhupada explains. Agyata here in terms of friendship, love, nationality, community, and so on. Why thinking I am the body? Yeah, all of these have developed because of the bodily concept of life and the lack of the knowledge of spirit soul. Yeah, so therefore we have to come out of this bhram. Srila refers to Prahlad Maharaj, and he says he describes this as bharam, bharam, yeah, bharam as in all the huge arrangements that we do towards the bodily concept of life. That's he says, and therefore we have to ensure that the entire material world is nothing but trying to keep us imprisoned in this body. And what we have to do as intelligent people, try to find a way out of this particular imprisonment. Uh, uh, yeah, Krishna Srila refers to Bhagavad Gita, and he talks about when Arjuna was thinking of bodily terms. And he was thinking, oh, my kinsmen are going to die, my father, my grandfather, my teacher, my. He was thinking from that sense. Krishna immediately chastises him, saying, Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupastitam anarya justam aswaryam. That's what he says, that this bodily conception of life is befitting the anaryas, the non-Aryans who are not advanced in knowledge, thinking that I am the body. That is the position that he talks. So, who is an Aryan? Aryan is one who understands he is not the body. That's the, again, Srila Prabhupada refers to Madhvacharya from Brahma Vaivarta Purana. Long one, let's read this nice purport. Go ahead, Madhji.
The purport is that as long as we are in this human form of body, our duty is to understand the soul within the body. The body is not the self. We are different from the body, and therefore there is no question of friends, enemies, or responsibilities in terms of the bodily conception of life. One should not be very anxious about the bodies changing from childhood to boyhood, from boyhood to old age, and then to apparent annihilation. Rather, one should be very seriously concerned about the soul within the body and how to release the soul from the material clutches. The living entity within the body is never annihilated. Therefore, one should surely know that whether one has many friends or many enemies, his friends cannot help him and his enemies cannot do him any harm. One should know that he is a spirit soul, Aham Brahmasmi, and that the constitutional position of the soul is unaffected by the changes of the body. In all circumstances, everyone as a spirit soul must be must be a devotee of Lord Vishnu and should not be concerned with bodily relationships, whether with friends or with enemies. One should know that neither we ourselves nor our enemies in the bodily conception of life are ever killed. Hare Krishna.
That's the clear, beautiful point. Though know that just as a body is changing from childhood to boyhood, boyhood to old age, and then from old age to death, he should not be very anxious because this is a normal position. Just like we change our shirt, when if it gets torn, the soul also changes the body continuously as the body keeps on becoming old. So again, trick or idea is to ensure we do not get attached to unnecessary things. Rather, we get attached to only the most important thing, which is the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Yeah, that's the mark of surrender that we have to develop, and that should become our ultimate objective of life. We are all searching for purpose of life, right? Oh, why am I born? And this Bhagavad Gita clearly gives, why are you born? So that you can serve Lord Krishna. Yeah, so no question, no doubts about that particular aspect. Many people are confused about the purpose of life and all of that. All they have to do is read Bhagavad Gita to make it very clear what is their purpose in life. Okay, let's see Narada Muni, what does he have to say now that he is back into the picture here? Yeah, Niti Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Shrinaraduvacha iti दैत्यपतेर्वाक्यं दितिराकण्यसस्नुषा पुत्रशोकं क्षणात्तयक्त्वा तत्त्वे चित्तं धारयत्.
Very nice.
Translation. Sri Narad Muni continued, Diti, the mother of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, heard the instructions of Hiranyakashipu along with her daughter-in-law, Rusha Bhanu, Hiranyaksha's wife. She then forgot her grief over her son's death and thus engaged her mind and attention in understanding the real philosophy of life.
So Diti, she got a liberation from the words of her own son Hiranyakashipu. Yeah, and even Rishabhanu, the wife of Hiranyaksha, she also forgot her grief. So again, this like we said, as to why Hiranyaksha is or Hiranyakashipu is telling all this fantastic knowledge, Srila Prabhupada refers to the concept which we were discussing a couple of days back, the concept of Smashan Vairagya. That when there is a death of a near and dear one, suddenly you become all philosophical and you spout all good philosophy. But as soon as you come out of the Smashan, you forget about everything and start behaving in the same manner. And so that's what here the Daityas are also in that same position. Even Daityas are materialistic people who sometimes think of philosophy when some relatives meet death. Yeah, and Srila Prabhupada explains this technical term for this attitude of a materialistic person is smashana vairagya. And as soon as he comes out, he explains detachment in a cemetery or a place of cremation. Because you see death, you think, oh, I'm also going to be here. But as soon as you come out, you forget about all of this. But what is the true attitude that we should do? We should understand, oh, I'm going to be in this trouble also. Therefore, I should do something so that I will be out of this trouble. So Srila Prabhupada refers to such persons as Artha or Jigyasu or Artharthi or Jnani. They are four types of people who will really take benefit of the problem that he is seeing for others. If somebody else has died we have to understand, oh, I am also going to go through that. What should I do? Then you become the Jigyasu who will basically surrender to Lord Krishna. Yeah. So here, Srila Prabhupada, especially when one is very much distressed by material condition, one becomes interested in God. So that's an easier thing, because when we are in good position, we never think of God. But when we are distressed, we definitely become so much interested in God, which is good, because Kanti Devi then prays, "Oh, give me only distress. I don't want anything else, because only in distress will I remember you. Because I am such a rascal that I will, when in good times, I will not be able to remember you. Therefore, as she says, Kunti Devi regretfully said that she was better off in distress, because Krishna was always present when they were in distress, because Krishna came to help them again and again and again. Yeah, and now that Krishna was going away, she said, "Oh, it looks as if you are leaving us." And this is Kunti's prayers. Shriva concludes that for a devotee, distress is an opportunity to remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. Yes, so that's a, we should look at it. Look at even distress as an opportunity here. But of course, the idea also is that when you're not in distress, to also think of God. So that's where this particular fantastic chapter ends, with shloka number 61. Let's quickly do some revision of this particular chapter. But any quick comments or thoughts to what we've read till today? Okay, if not, yeah, Mataji had a point. Yeah, go,
Yeah.
Srinivasan
Hare
Prabhu, go
Krishna.
ahead. Sorry, wait, Mataji. Srinivasan
Sorry.
Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, this story reminds me of, where the story will be told at the 10th day of the death. All the family members will be sitting around, and the story of what happens to the spirit soul. So
Correct.
it's some.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. In fact, even in the when a death occurs, we keep reading the 8th chapter, Retaining the Supreme, which basically talks about the body being temporary, and all of these particular things. Exactly. So that's how maybe Hiranyakashipu was also doing the 10th day of Hiranyaksha. And again, it's a good reminder for all of us in terms of when a death occurs. Of course, it's a distressful situation, but the trick is to remember the Lord in that distress situation. And that's why, in fact, not only in distress, even in good times, we remember the Lord, because the overarching principle of every Vedic ritual is always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna, isn't it? So that's the entire in good times, for example, the sowing season is there starting, or we do the harvesting season. All these are good times. What is the end game? End game is to do Vishnu worship, basically. As in, or when we are in distress, that also what we do? We do Vishnu worship, basically. Again, the point is, yena kena prakarena mana Krishna niveshaya. Yeah, Niti Mataji had a point.
Yeah, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, like you said, that it is our duty as a conditioned soul that we should try doing a karma and should try return in some janma, maybe due to these akarmas, it will be possible that we return to Godhead. But a real devotee, as per the Chitraketu's prayers also, he says that if, I do not want liberation also, if it denies me to be your
Serve you.
devotee. So, a pure devotee will never want for liberation, Prabhuji. Then why is it our duty to
True.
try doing, to
Yeah,
try?
because for us, yeah, why? Because the current conditioned position of life does not help us to remember the Lord. So, what is the objective of liberation? Objective of liberation is to serve the Lord, not for reducing my problems. Yeah, and that is where if you are a real devotee, you will understand that liberation is a very selfish objective. Because still it shows I want to be liberated. I want to not have birth, old age, or I does not want to have these distresses. I should give, yeah. So that I needs to go away. Therefore, a pure devotee, he looks at liberation only as a means, but he does not look for liberation as an objective. He looks for service of the Lord as the objective. Yeah, and liberation is a byproduct of that particular position. Yeah, so therefore, even when we discuss the various songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says that you make me worm in stool, no problem, but I should be serving a devotee even in that particular worm condition. Is the point, because service of the Lord's, in fact, not even direct service of the Lord, service of the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord is what is the real objective. Yeah, and the service gives us all the other benefits. But again, the idea is not to think of those benefits. You're doing akarma, right? Not
Yeah,
for everything for Krishna, basically.
yeah, it's to please Krishna. That's it.
Exactly. So even liberation, if you want liberation, why I want liberation? Because I want to serve Lord Krishna. Because Krishna I am a long lost son of Lord Krishna. It's exactly like, if our son or daughter has gone away and he decides, oh, let me go back to my home. Will the parents not be happy? Yeah, parents will be happy, right? Oh, our daughter has come back home. Yeah, same way we are also long lost sons of the Lord, and when we want liberation, means we want to go back home, back to Godhead, right? We want to go in front of and next to Krishna. Lord Krishna is happy, and that is our liberation should be for Krishna's pleasure. Yeah, that is the objective of even the liberation. Therefore, liberation becomes like it's like a flip side of a coin. Yeah, actually, it is bhakti that you want, but liberation is a byproduct that you also get. Or if you want liberation, then you also ensure that you're doing real akarma. What is the real akarma? That liberation also for Krishna's pleasure. My liberation is not for my pleasure, but for Krishna's pleasure. Yeah, because only then you are a devotee, right? Otherwise, you're not a devotee. Otherwise, you're a selfish being, isn't it? So
Yeah,
if you're a
Prabhuji.
true devotee, whether you're here or whether you've liberated, not got liberated, service of the Lord is important.
Yeah, because the other day we were reading about the 5 kinds of muktis, right? Wherein, it was mentioned. I was listening to some, Amarendra Prabhuji's
Mm-hmm,
some.
mm-hmm.
So
Nice,
he
yeah.
saying that, yeah, like there are 5 types of mukti, but even the last mukti being wherein the soul is actually merging with the Lord. So
Mm-hmm.
devotee never wants this kind of mukti because
Correct.
obviously that devotion will be that bhakti will be deprived. So,
No,
and
no,
in fact,
bhakti means service. Service
service,
means
yeah, service will be
existence has to
deprived.
be there.
Yeah, because he's merging in with the
Merging means no servant. You don't exist, right?
yes. So he said ki not only this, but
Very nice.
devotee does not want any of the muktis because in any case he will be deprived, right? If in any
Mhm.
situation that devotional service is deprived, then it will not be there.
Yes, yes. I mean, she Anadis put this one very nicely. This is basically Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's position. Ashlishyava padaratam pinashtumam adarshanan marmatam karoto. What do I really want? Yeah, that's the point that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes. Now that whatever he do, he is my only master, and I want to please him in whichever way that I can. That's the point that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as an ideal devotee, he tells us what should be our objective. Okay, great, good thought there. Let's quickly only do this summary reading of the overall summarization given by Srila Prabhupada at the beginning of the chapter. Srinivasan Prabhu Pavan Prabhu can read this.
Hare Krishna. Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyakashipu, king of the demons, as described in this chapter, after the
Sorry.
annihilation of Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyakashipu's son and his brother Hiranyakashipu were very much aggrieved. Hiranyakashipu reacted very sinfully by trying to diminish the religious activities of people in general. However, he instructed his nephews about our history just to diminish their aggrievement. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as the boar and killed Hiranyakashipu's brother Hiranyaksa, and Hiranyakashipu was very much aggrieved. In anger, he accused of the Supreme Personality of Godhead of being partial to his devotees and derided the Lord's appearance as Varsha to kill
Varaha.
Varaha to kill his brother. He began to agitate all the demons and Rakshasas and disturb the ritualistic ceremonies of the peaceful sagas and other inhabitants of earth. For want of the performance of yagna sacrifice, the demigods began wandering unseen on earth. After finishing the ritualistic funeral ceremonies of his brother, Hiranyakashipu began speaking to his nephews, quoting from the Shastras about the truth of life. To pacify them, he spoke as follows: My dear nephews, for heroes to die before the enemy is glorious. According to their different fruitive activities, living entities come together within this material world and are again separated by the laws of nature. We should always know, however, that the spirit soul, which is different from the body, is eternal, inadjustable, pure, all pervading, and aware of everything. When bound by material energy, the soul takes birth in higher or lower species of life according to varying association, and in this way receives various types of bodies in which to suffer or enjoy. One's affiliations by the affliction
Affliction.
by the conditions of material existence is the cause of happiness and distress. There are no other causes, and one should not be aggrieved upon seeing the superficial actions of karma.
So that's the knowledge that he has given to this to his nephews. Okay, let's sorry, Srinivasan Prabhu can read the next half.
Hare Krishna. Hiranyakashipu then related a historical incident concerning King Suyagnya, who resided in the country named Ushinara. When the king was killed, his queens, overwhelmed with grief, received instructions which Hiranyakashipu quoted to his nephews. Hiranyakashipu related an account of a Kulinga bird pierced by the arrow of a hunter while lamenting for his wife, who had also been shot by the same hunter. By narrating these stories, Hiranyakashipu pacified his nephews and other relatives and relieved them of lamentation. Thus, having been pacified, Diti and Rusha Bhanu, Hiranyakashipu's mother and sister-in-law, engaged their minds in spiritual understanding.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so that's the quick summary of what we have read. We'll do a detailed summary by reading the individual translations commencing tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Okay, so let's close with closing prayers. Yes, Priya Mataji, please do closing prayers.
Hare Krishna. अहं सर्वस्य प्रभवो मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भावसमन्विताः मच्चित्ता मद्गतप्राणा बोधयन्तः परस्परं कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुपयान्ति ते तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थम् अहम् अज्ञानजं तमः नाशयाम्यात्मभावस्थो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता अहमेवा समेवाग्रे नान्यत् यत् सदसत्परं पश्चादहं यदेतच्च यो वशिष्येत सोऽस्म्यहं ऋते अर्थं यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि तद्विद्यादात्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः यथा महान्ति भूतानि भूतेषु चावचेष्मनो प्रविष्टान्यप्रविष्टानि तथा तेषु न तेष्वहम् एतावदेव जिज्ञास्यं तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः अन्वयवतिरेकाभ्यां यत् स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
रुद्राज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Everyone.